Have you often wished that you could live like you were on vacation all the time? If you have, I felt that too. And I want to talk to you a little bit today about the differences between when we're on vacation, we'll call this vacation mode, and when you're in the normal hustle and bustle of life, we'll call this hustle mode. Let's talk about the differences and actually the truth behind can you or can't you live in vacation mode all the time without being necessarily independently wealthy or having a sugar daddy or a sugar mama be supporting you? Let's break this down, friends. I was thinking about this the other day and remembering so many times when I would leave vacation and I would have had an amazing time, and getting on the plane or getting in the car to go home was so disappointing because I knew that it was like back to reality, back to living life in a way that I truly just didn't want to live, a way that felt like I was living for vacations and time off and weekends. And it felt like the allotment of time should be flipped. Like, why couldn't I have more time for the things that I loved and less time doing the things that I kind of had to do to make ends meet or to kind of do the thing of life? And then it kind of hit me. I kind of did some reflections on really like what were the differences between me on vacation mode, and me in my hustle mode. And I noticed that when I was on vacation, there were some really distinct differences. And one was that I really allowed myself to do what I wanted to do with very little resistance. The thing of sleeping in, lounging in a chair on the beach for a long time, or saying yes to dessert, or allowing myself to take a long excursion to do something I've always wanted to do, to read a fictional book. All of the things that I actually wanted to do, there was very little resistance. So it's like I felt the urge, I would do it, and then I'd move on. I also noticed that I allowed myself to kind of follow these urges without necessarily piling on a lot of obligations. I felt really free. And I noticed that the dominant states that I was feeling in vacation mode were things like gratitude and appreciation and curiosity and a sense of adventure. And I felt a sense of empowerment, in a sense that I could do what I wanted, that I was free, that life was happening for me. There was just a lot of good emotions. And I felt that my spirit was just lighter, right? I didn't have the worry and the obligation of things. And, as we all do, we get on vacation, we're like, it's okay if I spend a little extra on this. We just get a little bit more lighter. And then I kind of contrasted that with what was it like to be in my normal life. And I noticed that I tended to say yes a lot to things that I really wanted to say no to, that I let obligations and things that were externally motivated take up a lot of the airtime in my life. And then oftentimes I pushed aside those same things that on vacation mode, I would just follow those desires and impulses and urges because simply either there wasn't time or simply because I just was so filled up with other things and I didn't allow myself. I kept thinking like, well, when I finished all of these things, then I'll get to the things that I really want to do. And so I noticed that a lot of those urges and impulses were kind of pushed away and pushed aside. I noticed that I did have less of an empowerment feel in my life, that it felt more like I had all these things to do and to accomplish. And I just felt like a constant hustle. In the dominant states that I felt, if I was really honest, like sure, there were days I felt good and accomplished, but for the most part, I felt a sense of frustration in life or a kind of a restlessness. I did feel in some ways thwarted between what I wanted and where I really was in life. And so I noticed that really there's a lot of emotional difference between the two states and also a belief. When I'm on vacation, I believe that doing all these things are completely natural and exactly how I should spend my time. Yet when I'm in hustle mode, being on vacation mode seems like the exact opposite of what I should do to fill my time. And so truly the differences between the two are my beliefs. It's what I've been thinking and what I think is possible. It's also the thoughts that I think about my life, and it's the emotions that I generated. Those were truly the differences because really I'm the common denominator. I'm in both experiences, but how I'm coloring the experience and what I believe is possible in each experience, it's really allowing me to shape the experience. So what I realized was that I had to do something different in my hustle mode in my life in order to start to bring more of that vacation mode into my reality. And the way I knew I had to do that was I had to generate different feelings. I had to think different thoughts. I had to believe different things. Now, if you're like me, changing beliefs that really carry a lot of weight to them because how else was I going to do it, right? Like I still got to make money. I still have to pay my bills. How can I live like I'm on vacation mode? So I started small, and I did an exercise that I've often done with my consulting clients, which is called start, stop, continue. So you start with, what are the things that I know that I need to start doing that would enhance my life? And so for me, it came down to things like, I need to start prioritizing the things that I know light me up and give me joy. So that started with me changing the hours that I was available for clients. Instead of working really early and late, which really just kind of shaped the rest of my day, I started to block those times out. I started to allow myself to only have limited ability. I started to shorten my work days at client sites. I just decided that I didn't want to work long hours anymore, and that I thought I could do a perfectly fine job in a shorter amount of time. I enrolled in some classes that I wanted to take because I love learning, and I realized that I was putting that in the back burner because I always had so much work to do or other things. And so I started to really prioritize and put forward me, my desires, my impulses. That was my start. My stop was I realized that I had to have better boundaries, that really we all have the same time, and how I was allocating my time and what I was giving it to had to change. So I stopped spending time on things that I knew drained my energy and that I knew was not really what I wanted to do. And so this looked like outsourcing. I outsourced a lot of activities, but yes, I had to spend money, but I saved energy, I saved time, and I felt way better. I also stopped saying yes to projects or to engagements or activities that I just wasn't a full body yes to, that I really was like, oh, I really don't want to, but I guess I should. I just started to say no to them and free up more time. And I was amazed that when I did this, the energy that I got, the empowerment that I got, and then I started to see other decisions that were in front of me that maybe I didn't see before. And then the continue. I looked at where in my life that I actually was feeling good. Like, what are the things that I was enjoying? And I did more of that, and I continued it. So having that free time, having that creative time to really pursue some of the ideas that I had. These were the small shifts that I started. And this started to turn around my experience in my life. So my experiences started to be differently. I started to feel closer to vacation mode. And for me, this shift and how I was living my life and the paradigm shift that I was starting to bring forward is truly what prepared me with the confidence and self-value to take the bigger leap that came later, when I really truly just completely took a leap of faith and stopped doing all the things that I felt were misaligned in my life. So maybe you're not ready for that yet, but maybe you too can compare and contrast your vacation mode and your hustle mode and notice really, where are you acting differently? Because again, you're the same person in your life, just like I was in both places. But again, what we think is possible truly is what we're allowing ourselves to receive in as possibilities. And if we change how we think, if we start to make different decisions, if we start to allow in more of that mode now, then we start to see different things happen, and it changes our beliefs over time because we actually have different results. So I hope that this will maybe inspire you to do some start, stopping, and continuing in your life so that you can bring more of vacation mode forward in your life. It truly is possible. Just the other day, someone asked me a question. They said, what do you like to do in your time off? And what was really funny is I realized that now, after all this time, I don't really see a difference in my time off. And no, I'm not independently wealthy. And no, I don't have someone supporting me. I truly have just made different decisions. And I trust the decisions that I've made. And my life does feel like I'm on vacation. Do I feel like I'm sitting in a lawn chair every day? Not exactly, but I have the same experiences of feeling free, of feeling empowered, of trusting my impulses and my desires. And I truly do feel like I've created vacation mode rather than hustle mode predominantly in my life. And friends, all it is a paradigm shift. It's not magic. It's actually the empowerment that you give yourself to create what you want now.